In this video, I'm gonna show you how I was able to press or jerk 64 kg kettlebells. That's 92% of my body weight. I think that's an awesome achievement, and I'm gonna explain to you how I did it. But before we get started, I have a gift for you. 30 days filled with kettlebell workouts for free. Check the first link in the description. Greetings Mitraan, Gregory von Lebe here. First, I'm gonna give you my reaction to this awesome physical achievement that I'm really happy about. Second, I wanna tell you how I use my so-called conjugate training system to achieve it. Third, I wanna explain the volume that I had to build up. 4, I'm gonna talk a little bit about rest. 5, I'm gonna share a little bit about my supplements and my diet. And finally, I'm gonna talk a bit about visualization. So here we are, double 32 kilogram kettlebells. Man. Before I want to start with the reaction per se, I want to tell you that I was feeling it. I was picking up the 24s, and then I picked up the 28s, and then I was like, yep, the 28s felt awesome. Then I was like, okay, let's jump into the 32s. Now, this is a specific rack position. If you're watching this for the first time and you're not familiar with this channel, this is a rack position where I rack the weight on my hips and not on my lower back. People who don't understand it maybe sometimes get the two confused. On the top fixation is a little bit wobbly, but I'm actually happy with it. And let's check out the jerk for, that wasn't so good. And you know, when you pick up heavy weights and you take them for a spin, you are not going to achieve perfect skill or perfect technique, but it still has to be a good lift. So let's just go through the exercise real quick because I want to teach you and explain to you what a jerk really is. So I have the kettlebells racked in the rack position. Then I'm breathing, catching my breath, and as you can see, the expression on my face is calm, and that's intentional. Then here comes the first phase. This is the dip. So in this moment, what happens is I'm shifting the body weight on my quads, and I imagine like I'm loading the catapult, and now the weight sits on the balls of my feet. Then this is how I build up kinetic energy. Then I explode that energy. Imagine like a catapult that's getting ready to sling. Now I'm boom, releasing that energy from the so-called stretch reflex that I've built up. And what I want to do is I really want to propulse the weight up through the power of my legs. I want to keep the elbows as close as possible together because I want to follow a straight line up. And then as soon as the bells land overhead, watch my face. That's not supposed to be, but it was like, oh, that was the last jerk. So I was a little bit, couldn't contain my composure. And then you drop into the so-called second dip. And then you are resting in the so-called top fixation. And then when you are done, you drop the weight back down, boom. And in no time was up, bang, on that drop the weights. And I was like, woo, that's heavy. Whee, nice. So I was really happy with this. Then in the second part of the video is what I do. That's part of the training regime that we have on Fridays. I follow Louis Simmons' approach, where he calls it ME Day, max effort day, and so that's typically Friday. So now I'm doing some proper deadlifts, and I love the deadlift per se because I think it's such an awesome exercise. It gets a great activation for my posterior chain, but it's also a little bit of active rest. So as soon as I finish the deadlifts, I'm moving up to the long cycle. And here, I love this position. This is where you can really rest on the bells and completely take a break. When you're standing and you're lifting these heavy weights, sometimes you're like, and so if I lean over the bells, I still have contact with the floor, as you can see, so that's still my position that I want to be in. But this is a perfect way to relax. So then let's get to it. So I'm cleaning the weight up, 1, 2, 3. Now with the long cycle, what we add now is a double clean. So the jerk is the same. It wasn't as bad, a little bit shaky, and watch what happens now. Boom, backswing, clean, and whoa. I realized, like, ooh, these bad boys. As you can see, my mistake right here is I was cleaning the weight up, nice, but I was not doing a proper hand insertion. And with this weight, if you don't insert your hands properly and pull the bells into that rack position, you see what happens? Gravity's like, not today, my man. And ooh, you gotta drop them again. And even if mistakes happen, that's why it is necessary for you to be at an advanced level and rock with an advanced technique. You still want to be able to catch the weight even if you fail. Now I was like, okay, I gotta do show it again. And then I want to explain to you what the double clean looks like. So we start again, backswing, clean, rack position, having the weight on my hips, right, getting ready. And watch my face now. I think it's a little bit better now. It's a little bit better, still calm and composed. And now watch what happens. Let's check this out. So I am dropping the bell. So when I drop the bells, what I think about is, okay, one bell comes first. In my case, always the left side comes first and the right handle is overlapping, and you hear this clanking. It's boom. So in that case, my body, as you can see, I go on my toes because I'm a lightweight guy. I have to go on my toes to compensate for the drop of the weight. And then here's what happens. I am now turning my palm towards me and I extend my forearms. And as you can see, I still keep the elbows fairly close to my body. Now I want to catch the weight with my quads. As you can see, I'm in a soft knee position. I lean back because I want to counter the weight. Now I'm going into the backswing. So here's where I let the kettlebells pull me. And then watch what happens. I am really, now I call this the Michael Jackson move. From this position, I use a lot of force for my legs. And here, I love this position. Watch what this looks like. It's Michael Jackson style. So the idea is you are generating so much force, boom, that you even use your calves. You use everything that you got from your legs to pull it up, lean back. As you can see, I'm leaning back, and then you bring them close. It's not a perfect rack position now, not a perfect landing. Then you bring them close and you interlace them back. So let's watch what this looks like a little bit faster. So it's boom, right? That's the jerk position of the long cycle. And then it's drop, catch it, backswing, clean, rack position, but wasn't as smooth. And then I think I finalized with the jerk, boom, and then I hold it in place. And then I drop the weight and look at me, woo, woo, nice. And I was really, really happy. So let me show you my weekly schedule. On Monday, I call it the nerve muscle system training day. On Monday, my nerve muscle system gets always excited because I design a workout on the spot on Monday. It's kind of a freestyle day that we then use to film it, put it on YouTube, and after 3 months, we put these workouts into our academy. Then on Tuesday, what I've started incorporating is just a little bit of rowing. Did 15 minutes this day. Sometimes I don't do anything. And then we have Wednesday. This is my muscle strength day. So what I do is I do 10 sets of the bench press, where I do a system where I start with 10 reps, then 9 reps, 8 reps, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then I combine it in a giant set with a pull-up, with a reverse grip right now, and then with some strict presses with the kettlebell. So it's this kind of system that I do on Wednesday. Then on Thursday, I don't do anything. I'm just relaxing. And then Friday is my max effort day, and also my SPP day, where I do specific physical preparation exercises. So I do this system that I just showed you. We always do this on Fridays. We're doing this for years now. Jerk, deadlift, and long cycle. Then I add some bench presses. And now what I started incorporating is depth jumps, because with depth jumps, I want to train my explosiveness. And then depending on what I did on Friday, on Saturday, I am including the same system or a similar system that I did on Wednesday, but with different rep ranges. It's only 5 sets total. Now what you can also see right here is the steps that I put in. On Monday it was 12,000 steps. On Tuesday it was 16,000. On Wednesday 17,000. I think from a year's perspective, according to my Apple Watch, I do 15,000 steps per day throughout the whole year on a 365 basis. And what I've also started is incorporating a brisk walk. I don't just walk normally, I walk fairly fast. When it comes to rest, I am fairly strict, but sometimes I can't contain myself. For example, on Tuesday, I was doing a little bit of rowing, some low intensity steady state cardio because I couldn't resist. But most of the time on Tuesday, rest, Thursday, rest, and Sunday, rest. And since we talk about rest, I also want to talk about my sleep schedule. I always want to make sure that I get 7 to 8 hours of sleep in, especially if I have a max effort day. So yesterday I went to bed earlier because I thought, you know what, today I might crack a record. So I had enough sleep, enough rest, I was recuperated. So that's probably also one of the reasons why I was able to hit this PR. When it comes to supplements, it's fairly easy. What I do is I have this type of water. Let me show this to you. This type of of water which has a lot of minerals in it. I think this water has 3 times more minerals in it than normal water. And what I do, I mix it up with some BCAAs. I know they don't work if you have enough protein throughout the day, so you can save that money. But I love the taste of the BCAAs, so I got a little bit of taste in here. And I think the creatine helps me to pump 1 or 2 or 3 more reps in, depending on how I feel. And when it comes to my diet in total, I just make sure that I follow a high protein diet, and I've started eating just a little bit more than a couple of months ago because I was aiming to crack these weights. And finally, I want to talk a little bit about visualization. I was visualizing a couple of weeks ago how I'm able to crack the double 28s. And the way I visualized it is I was visualizing not only the shirt that I was wearing, because most of the time I wear this shirt because I'm working and then I work out. And I was also visualizing the pants that I'm wearing, my look. I always have the same shave. I always have the same, right now, the same haircut. So I was visualizing this and I was thinking about how I'm able to manage it. What's fascinating is that your muscles start moving at a very minute level. And I think it's also even documented that your muscles start moving if you start visualizing how you do the exercise. Today I did a very small visualization practice. Before I was hitting the workout, I went to the toilet, and then as I'm sitting on the toilet, I was thinking about, hey, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. And I was visualizing a recent thumbnail that I did about a workout where I was talking about so-called scare tactics. And you can watch this right here. It's an interesting video. And here I was visualizing that thumbnail and visualizing the way I was calm and composed. And I was also visualizing a video recently that I did with a double 28s where I was also calm and composed. But funny thing is, the last week the 24s felt crazy heavy. And I couldn't imagine doing the 28s. So because I had this experience last week, I was like, come on, man. You remember how you was able to lift the double 28s with a calm expression on your face. And just to touch on these scare tactics a bit, as I finished the double 32, 64 kg, I picked up double 28s, that's 56. And a couple of months ago, they were destroying me. But today, they felt like light air. I'm not joking. I was cranking out reps like a machine. 5 reps, boom, 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 without even breathing heavy. Then I was like, okay, let's see what the 48 looked like. So I picked up double 24s, and they felt even lighter. I was like, what do I have here? Is it double 12, double 16? That's way too light, way too easy. So that's scare tactics, which is so fascinating that you have to use it and you have to check it out. So here's the next step that you have to do. You have to like the video, consider subscribing, share with a friend, and then go watch this video about scare tactics. It's an interesting concept that you have to try if you are advanced. Watch it right now.